Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing the Line. Today we're going to have a look at a story of a disturbing trend of cyber attacks rocking the US and hitting here home in Australia. It's disturbing to see, but this is where the way we knew it would be going with the new class of warfare. This is the new type of attacks we are going to see on a daily basis here in the Western world, and we are literally at war with Russia and China at this point. It is insane to think that we are not under attack, and things like this are just a random occurrence. This is a massive threat to our country's sovereignty, and it is a massive threat to your even cash in the bank at this point. We could lose quite a lot of things and have our stuff shut down, so we cannot access any of it, whether it's your ATM, whether it's a credit card, whether it's even your phone provider, things like that. It's not too hard to hack, apparently, and with some disturbing stories coming out saying that we may have had our private data leaked on a daily basis, coming from whether it's a bank or an insurance company or a super fund. And not only that, but it turns out it's American military equipment getting hacked and Australian military equipment getting hacked as well. And it's on the rise. We have a story here. BAE system boss asked if designs for a new warship have been leaked. And this story here that is still ongoing in Las Vegas, MGM Resorts Las Vegas cyber attack could be costing up to $8.4 million a day as computer systems remain down. New hire claims his paycheck has been delayed in the chaos. We'll start the story here with the Daily Mail. Let's get into it. MGM Resorts could be losing as much as $8.4 million a day as their computer systems remain down following a massive cyber attack, as New High claims that their paycheck is late in the chaos. Disruptions to the hotel casinos owned by MGM Resorts International have been going on for over a week after the company was breached by hackers seeking a ransom payment to restore access. The giant company may be currently losing between $4.2 and $8.4 million in daily revenue and around $1 million in cash flow every day. Gaming industry analyst said the report to investors, according to the Las Vegas Review Journal, in a weekly report published on Sunday. Equity analyst David Kratz estimated that MGM could take 10 to 20% blow on the revenue cash flow for days that could the current conditions exist. Well, the company claimed on Friday that payroll had been met. New hire T-Mobile Arena, joint venture between MGM and AEG, claimed at the weekend that he is yet to receive his paycheck. We're currently experiencing unforeseen difficulties. Dealers are working to resolve this. So basically, a whole rash of casinos in Las Vegas have been hacked. A casino has actually paid out $40 million to the hackers to get their systems back up online, and MGM seem to be holding the line and refusing to pay them. This is rather disturbing happening to something as large as casinos, because you can imagine their cybersecurity and security in general would be pretty legitimate. But it's not only happening there. I mean, this doesn't really affect anyone besides these massive casinos and a few of their workers, obviously. But they will get their pay at the end of the day. But a more disturbing report here from news.com.au. BAE Systems boss asked if designs for the Hunter fleet frigates have been compromised. So we are currently building, we have a program, $45 billion warship program, building these new frigates. And it seems that we may have lost critical data and classified data on these, which could possibly render them useless in the future to Russia, to curtail Russia and China in our seaways, waterways. But we'll have a look at this story here from news.com.au. The head of Russia's largest defense minister, BAE Systems in Australia, has faced claims that the cybersecurity has been hacked in recent weeks while facing a parliamentary inquiry. The company's chief executive, Ben Hudson, was asked by committee chair Julian Hill on Friday whether BAE Systems had been hacked in recent weeks. The Labor MP said it had been suggested to him that a potential breaches and compromised some of his material. While Mr. Husband took the question on notice, meaning he will supply an answer to the question at a later date, he said, "You can imagine a company like BAE, like every other major defence company in Australia, is a consistent target. The question appeared to catch Mr. Hudson off guard. We work in partnership with the Australian Cyber Security Centre. We're a defence industry security program certified company," said Mr. Hudson, "and I won't go and talk about specific issues that we have, but there were always threats that are bound that the company is dealing with." Mr. Hill then asked whether plans for the C-5000 Hunter class frigates were compromised in any way due to cyber security attacks. Mr. Hudson said that they had not, to the best of my knowledge. That is a very careful answer, he said. The defence boss appearance before a joint military inquiry follows a scathing Australian National Audit NAO report. The defence boss appearance before a joint inquiry follows a scathing Australian National Audit Office report, which said that the 9 British Type 26 fleet, which will be built by BAE Systems, could cost substantially more than $45 billion allocated in the budget. The 10,000-tonne warship will be optimised for anti-submarine warfare and replacing Anzac-class frigates. A defence contractor underquoting for a contract and failing to supply seems to be our national curse at the moment. We constantly spend more money on military items that we do not receive. We haven't received our military items in quite a while. France, you may have something to do with this, but the disturbing part there, besides the government wasting money on, I don't believe they're wasting money on these warships. We do need them, but I don't think they really know what they're signing themselves up for, because they're so inept at their job, and they basically get bamboozled as soon as someone starts mentioning big words, especially if you're talking to a military contractor, and then we get fleeced. But the disturbing trend here is that they could have been hacked, and if these people were hacked, if BAE was hacked and we lost critical data to these systems, that is very disturbing indeed, especially with China on the rise and the Russia and China friendship getting stronger and stronger. At the end of the day, we are getting a lot closer to World War III. We're getting a lot closer to a unipolar world regime with China, Russia fighting the US at the moment. China's fighting us every day here in Australia. I mean, just look at the amount of land they're buying daily here in Australia. We are under attack. If we've ever been under attack, now is the time to say it. Also, last couple of months, we've had several incidences and fatalities involving helicopter crashes, an Osprey crash, and lately today, F-35 jet debris was found after a pilot ejects during a mishap. This is a bit of an odd story. Debris from a $150 million stealth fighter has been located near an airbase that after it mysteriously went missing. Now, a F-35 fighter jet is the pinnacle of modern-day fighters, and we have a couple here in Australia, I believe. In America, they seem to have lost one. A pilot bailed out, and it continued on autopilot on its merry way. Makes you wonder why he bailed out if it was flying adequately. There's going to be some questions to be answered, or a $150 million jet just to crash and go haywire like that. That is very bizarre. It's not the only case lately. We did have a bit of a viral video clip of an F-35 trying to take off. I believe it was somewhere in Texas, and it was spiraling around just above the ground and then dragging along the ground before the pilot eject on the runway. And that should not be happening to a $150 million piece of equipment that's state-of-the-art. And they're still on friendly soil there in the US, and it's happening there. So it makes you kind of wonder whether these we've seen it happen before, where you can hack Teslas and you can hack cars and things like that. It makes you wonder whether America is actually under attack at the moment with their systems being hacked, and some of their planes may possibly either I don't think commandeering them would be very easy, but they could stuff with their avionics and stuff, flight controls, enough where they lose control and they cannot fly the vehicle, and they have to ditch, which is what appears to have happened here with this F-35 fighter jet. We'll read a bit of this story here from news.com.au. US military officials have found debris in the search of the missing F-35 jet fighter after a mishap caused the pilot to eject the fighter plane, subsequently going missing. Joint Base Charleston, a major air base located in South Carolina, said on Facebook that the aircraft was a Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II, belonging to a Marine Corps air station, Beaufort, 110 kilometers south of Charleston, reports Fox News. Each F-35 cost around $155 million. The pilot ejected safely and was transported to a local medical center, but the plane was initially nowhere to be found. I mean, if your plane's flying off in a direction and you get a bearing, I'm sure that it's going to take a little while to find it once it crashes. Besides, especially if it's in the middle of nowhere and no one's around to see any smoke plume or anything like that. But you think that their GPS trackers and things like that they would obviously be in said aircraft, would be able to pinpoint the location of that downed aircraft pretty quickly. But apparently not. This may just be a normal aviation incident, like we have several here that we're going to have a look at. But this could be something more sinister. It could be a lot of people talking about the decline of the military in the US, whether they're sending so much money and equipment over to Ukraine that they are running out of it at home, and the poor performance of said military people in charge of their hiring and firing there in the military, and just the kind of people that they are now letting into the military, mentally inept and medically challenged in some ways as well. I mean, if you're dropping your standards to the military so badly that I'm not blaming the pilot, but if it's causing issues where you were losing aircraft on home soil due to massive malfunctions. It could have been a mechanic stuff up. It could have been anything. It could have been a host of things. Who knows? But whether the degradation of the US military is now costing it vehicles and costing it crew and lives, that is something that they need to look at. Or it could be something more sinister like the hacking from China and Russia. We've had a spate of helicopter crashes recently as well, and Osprey in the spotlight after Tiwi Islands crash in Northern Territory on August 27th. 23 US Marines were on board the MV-22B Osprey aircraft when it crashed over the Tiwi Islands of the Northern Territory during a routine military training exercise, taking the lives of 3 American Marines. Now, Osprey are actually very notorious to be crashing. They are a very unstable aircraft. They are, if you haven't seen one, I'll see if there's a picture here. The aircraft has, there it is in the background there, has 2 massive blades that, and on its wings that can turn itself from a plane basically into a helicopter, or there it is, vertical takeoff platform. And it is a exceedingly smart piece of technology and exceedingly easy to stuff up, apparently. It's amazing how they work. They are a unique piece of equipment, but they are notoriously unstable, and a lot of people, and I mean, there is a troubled history, like it even says here, including a crash in Queensland in 2017. 23 people have died in Osprey crashes at different locations around the globe. I believe one of the first crews to actually pilot one, I think they were the Chicken Hawks or something like that. I forget the regiment that was flying them, but they had a rash of crashes, and this was like taming a wild beast, trying to learn how to fly these things and get them to work the way they were supposed to. But with the amount of these that have happened, I mean, recently we've had a Black Hawk crash here in Australia as well from the Talisman Sabre exercise that we have every year with the US, the Australian Army helicopter that had crashed at sea, killing 4 during a military exercise with the United States. Later week found human remains, but not the black box, crucial explaining the tragedy, said an officer on Thursday. Recovering 4 aircrew in the black box fight data recorded happening the main priorities. The MRH-90 Type N helicopter crashed July 28th during a nighttime operation on the Whitsunday Islands off the north coast of Australian coast. We have that. We have also, in earlier this year, Fort Campbell, 2 Black Hawk helicopters crashed into each other, killing nine servicemen and women. And these things do happen. I mean, these are training exercises for a reason, but whether these systems were in piss poor performance, whether it's the technical systems of the aircraft itself, the prior planning to exercises, and or the execution of those exercises. Obviously, something went awry, and whether it is hacking, which is the worst case scenario, or I don't see it really being that much better if the US military is just becoming that inept that these things are just becoming more and more common. I don't know. If we are seeing massive reports of these hacks here in Las Vegas, other ones with systems and are being hacked and information being stolen. I mean, we've had how many data breaches this year in Australia alone? I lost count how many data breaches we've had. I've lost count how many scam callers, even honestly. If we can't figure out how to stop scam callers calling Australian mobile phones and home phones here in Australia, what hope do we have of fighting off a vicious attack from a unknown origin via any sort of firmware or firewalls or anything like that? They just seem to be able to get through. If we can't figure out how to stop telemarketers calling us and scamming Australian citizens out of their well-earned money, hard-earned money, I doubt we are going to be able to stop countries with a hell-bent will on stealing our information like China does, especially with the amount of Huawei technology that we have in our current systems. Our current entire network, I believe, is still built on Huawei technology, which is a CCP company. It is run by at arm's length, the Chinese communist regime. And we are that closely linked with China. I mean, we have Chinese police stations in every major city here in Australia, and they are arresting Chinese people here in Australia and sending them back to mainland China to face prosecution for thought crime and things like that. And our government is fully well aware of all of these police stations, where they are operating, who works at them. And some of these places even have their own police vehicles marked with their CCP writings. And the Australian government does nothing about it, and they just let these people walk around our country spreading their version of communism, and we just do nothing about it. Are we at the beck and call of China with this current government? Absolutely. If you go and look at anyone like Daniel Andrews, you see how closely tied they are with the CCP, and you even look at people like Justin Trudeau over there in Canada. It seems that all of these leftist politicians that are destroying their countries, whether it be here or in Canada or even Biden government, they have these intricate ties with places like Ukraine, China, and Russia. Everything they've been accusing anyone on the right doing, they are doing themselves, and they are actually the culprits and the main cause of half of these issues. I mean, the Road, Belt and Rail initiative China is using is quickly taking over a lot of countries in Africa, which is causing is going to be a massive issue in our future. And the rise of Chinese communism and getting into our systems, getting into our communities, getting into our government and politics here in Australia is getting ever more prevalent. And I do not see a day where we will be rid of them. They will always be on our back, and to the point where they own Australia outright, like a lot of Australia is owned outright now. What do you guys think anyway? Do you think some of these crashes and attacks are a conspiracy, whether it's an attack from China, Russia, or someone like that? Do you think that it's all just coincidental? Do you think these crashes are just everyday occurrences? They very well could be. With a lot of planes and helicopters flying around, things can go wrong. But when all these systems start failing, and we've seen things like the Chinese spy balloon flying around the US and Chinese lasers getting shot or being recorded getting shot at places like Hawaii before the fires broke out. What do you think's going on? Do you think this is a massive conspiracy and we are at war? Because I do firmly believe we are at war with China, and Russia, more so Russia at the moment. I mean, we can't keep blowing them up and sending drones over there to kill Russian people and them not retaliate towards us in any way. That's not going to happen. They're going to retaliate. And for us to sit here and pretend that sending arms to Ukraine and sending bombs to kill Russians there, whether you like it or not, we are killing Russian soldiers with our money, and our government is doing it on our behest. Whether you're for it or not, I'm obviously not for it, but a lot of people in Australia are, because of the lack of information they have and the blind allegiance to the Australian government that they seem to have over the last couple of years. I don't know why. But what do you guys think it is? I believe we are in serious hurt, and I believe that this is going to continue and ramp up. I mean, we can see them shutting down our power very easily, shutting down things like telecommunications and our monetary access to monetary funds, especially with the decline of cash getting around in Australia at the moment. We will be pinned down, and we will have nothing to. We will not be able to fight back. What do you guys think anyway? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.